review stream. I'm Casualeann. If this is your first time here at the Casualeann Net Wrestling Fan Channel, welcome. As always, I appreciate you stopping by. Give this video or this stream, whatever you'd like to call it, a like, share it, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. You know, you would think I would have learned my lesson from the AEW match that I reviewed, the Undisputed AEW Championship match. I did not learn my lesson because the flare-up was crazy. Let me know if there's anything going on with the stream, if there's some orientation problems, anything with the sound, that kind of thing. I don't want anything to be wrong and I not even know it, and the orientation be messed up like it was last week. But I titled this video, "What is Triple H's best storyline right now?" because I have no idea, to be honest. Not a clue. So if you're in the chat right now, like, put down what you actually think Triple H's best storyline is right now. Is there even one? Because I don't know. We might find out together, to be honest, over the course of this Raw Talk review. So, September 19th, 2022. They start with the quintessential welcome, all that good stuff. They let us know that Matt Riddle and Seth Rollins are going to be fighting at Extreme Rules in a fight pit match. Now, with my Philistine sort of casual fan insight, I did not know what a fight pit match was. And I still have to go back and investigate a little bit more, but I was glad that they at least said that it was an NXT thing, because then I didn't feel as bad, like, not knowing about it. Let's see. What did they go to next? The first replay they give us is Austin Theory and Johnny Gargano. Just when Theory was about to use his Money in the Bank briefcase to win, Johnny Wrestling took it away. Austin Theory was fighting KO. He's about to use the briefcase to win. Johnny Gargano takes it away from him, and this enables KO to get the victory in the end. Now, Johnny, after this, drops the briefcase on Austin's little Theories. He's back. But Alpha Academy, they kind of do this little weird segue into it. Alpha Academy is the first to be interviewed, as they are in Austin Theory's camp. They're kind of his, we won't say lackeys, but they're his allies for right now. So Sarah Schreiber attempts to set up a question, and she promptly gets shushed away. So Chad Gable comes in, you know, he's had enough with everyone's trying to shush a shusher. He had a lot of stuff he was saying, a lot going on. He's talking about KO and Gargano, the fact that they should have had the guts to challenge them for a match that they could fight out in, like, Minnesota. But instead, now they're going to fight in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. He's not happy about that, I guess. That's where Raw is happening next week. Now, I'm not going to go off on too big of a tangent, but I'm kind of curious as to whether they do anything with, like, fan signs and, like, Chris Benoit and all that kind of thing, since that's where he was billed from when he used to fight. Obviously, WWE is not going to mention anything because of the monstrous thing, you know, that he did, you know, killing his wife and his son, and then, you know, killing himself. But knowing the fans, if I had to make a good guess as to what they're going to do, there's probably going to be some stuff that's confiscated, to be honest. But we'll see. But yeah, Alpha Academy says they're going to win. You know, they have this match with KO and Johnny Gargano for next week. And they're going to raise the American flag, and Otis is going to sing the national anthem. And with that, Otis He breaks out into song, and Gabe was like, and that was perfect because he's always overdoing the shush thing. And just the ideal time that you would think he would have done it, he's like, no. I loved it. Gabe was a constant stream of words, tough on the notes, tough on the fingers, but very, very entertaining. What do you make of what KO is trying to do to Austin Theory? To me, it seems like he's trying to maybe motivate him some. I'm not certain what's going on there. But Booker T is asked this, and for his part, he thinks that sometimes you have to slap a guy around. You have to kind of show him who's boss. You have to do these things to the young guys. He recommends that Theory do some serious soul searching. Austin was in the match. He was checking all the boxes, how Booker T is. But a distraction, just a little distraction, cost him the victory. And what's more, Booker T says he has never, and I mean never, won a match in Canada before. Or he thinks he never has. And so he thinks that Alpha Academy is going to have a little bit of an uphill battle with this Canadian crowd, but to not sleep on the Alpha Academy. So regarding the Extreme Rules match, he says you got to concern yourself with business that don't concern you. And that's kind of where Bianca Belair and this whole friendship with Alexa Bliss and Asuka is going. By her being the champion and kind of involving herself in these little lower level conflicts, like with Damage Control, not Bayley, but Io Sky, Dakota Kai, involving herself with this, she's getting in business, or she's getting concerned with business that don't concern her. He says when you're champion, you gotta look out for a number one. Booker always has some nice insight. I found they really need to just make him permanent, to be honest. JBL's, he's all right to me, to be honest. King's funny with the one-liners and everything, but I think for my money, Booker T's the best kind of guest panelist they have. So the Street Profits fought the number one contenders for the Undisputed Tag Team Championships, the Brawling Brutes, and they lost, as always. What is with the Street Profits? But since the Brawling Brutes are the number one contenders for the Undisputed WWE Tag Team Championships, we get an interview with them. We get a piece, just a little snippet of a phone call that Rich Holland is making with Sheamus before Kevin Patrick asks the question of all questions, the question that every interviewer is asking: how do you feel? So Rich Holland says this Friday, Ridge the Fridge and the Bruiser, pointing to Pete Dunne, were the became the number one contenders for the Undisputed WWE Tag Team Championships. And Ridge storms off at that. Leaves Butch to it. And Butch just says, Monday night, Friday night, every night is a fight night. And this was quintessential because it's the most talking that I've heard Butch do for weeks, if not ever. And I guess that's part of them rolling back the Butch and turning up the Pete Dunne now. It was concise. I'm not sure if the whole segment was even 30 minutes long. Like, the intensity was there, though. So, they go back to Booker T. They ask about Roman Reigns and the Logan Paul challenge. Like, them fighting each other at Crown Jewel. He talks about loving it, how Logan Paul has a lot of talent, as a promoter, he kind of checks every box to Booker T, but he thinks ultimately Logan Paul is going to take a Universal Championship as whooping, which cracks up Jackie and Matt and me right along with them. That was the biggest laugh moment to me of the whole show. So they give us one more break, and then they've got Rey Mysterio with the tighty whitey split pea suit type gear. I don't know what was going on with that. But he's teaming with Riddle to fight the Judgment Day. And I apologize, it looks like my stream is a little bit behind where everybody else is. I promise I'm not trying to go past everybody's comments. I'm really sorry about that. But we'll soldier on as always, and hopefully it'll catch up. But over the course of this match that Rey Mysterio and Riddle have with the Judgment Day, like, Dom dares his father to hit him with a chair, like in the face with a chair. And of course, Rey can't do it. This is his baby boy. This is his son. I think it prompts Dom to call Rey an SOB kind of under his breath. And Rey did that dad stomp. I mean, that dad stomp that would kind of, it would usually prompt a backhand if Dom was maybe like 10 years younger. He just stopped for a second. And then he kind of went on and climbed back in. So I don't know. Maybe that's the turn. Maybe that's going to be the pivotal moment to bring Rey and Dom into a one-on-one feud, since Edge is going to be gone now. Not a clue. So the Judgment Day are waiting for Finn. They're about to party. Now, we saw the beginning of that on the actual Raw show. Sarah Schreiber interrupts just as Finn is coming back, and she asks if Damian Priest is prepared to fight his former friend Matt Riddle one-on-one. So Damian Priest says Riddle's always been someone who didn't know what he was good, or didn't know what was good for him. We have to send him up on that mountain of omnipotence, and kind of repeats what he was saying on Raw, and they're all kind of sniggering, and oh my goodness, I don't know what that means. What did Edge ever mean by the mountain of omnipotence? But he's gonna have to, Finn says he's gonna roll him up, bowl him up, and smoke him. Dom's like, yes, let's go, I got this. So I realize that some folks aren't into the Judgment Day, but for me, it's the most interesting part of Raw. I don't know about anybody else, but just for my part. You got Damian Priest, the Intimidator and the Punisher. You got Finn, kind of the solid hand, and the burgeoning feud between him and AJ Styles, which is also going to be quite juicy. And then the question of questions: what is with Rhea and Dominic and this new mommy stuff? No clue where that's going. But I am absolutely fascinated by it. Like, she is always just the perfect manipulator, like whispering into Dom's ear, and he just follows whatever it is that she's saying. I love it. She's like Delilah to his Samson. If I don't know if Dom had that much strength on him, but anyway, he might be strong for all I know. I've heard it as a criticism, mind you, that the Attitude Era was nothing but a violent soap opera. And you know what? It was. The Attitude Era was, and it was fantastic for that. I've said it before, it wasn't just like TNA. It was something vivid. It was colorful. And so the Judgment Day to me are kind of just that little tiny piece, that sliver of the Attitude Era that stood out so much in like my young teenage mind. It was like that era of time. It was, Big Papa Pump and his freaks and his peaks, all he cared about. Big Sexy, Kevin Nash. And then on the WWF side, the insanity of the corporation, the Ministry of Darkness, the Brood, the Hardy Boys, Triple H ruining Test and Stephanie's wedding, even though they did ruin Test's career. I have to admit, it was good watching. But don't get me wrong, I'm not saying the Judgment Day is as good as the Attitude Era. I wouldn't dare say that. It's something that can never be duplicated. Culturally, we don't even have the ability to welcome that kind of thing anymore. Like, everybody's so politically correct and easily offended. Can't really happen like that anymore. Anyway, got a little off track, but Dominic isn't the most charismatic superstar right now, but I'm optimistic that as he's featured a little bit more, he'll find more of his footing. I think being part of this group is really helping him out. But as far as Raw Talk goes, this one was a little tough. It was kind of boring, to be honest. By the end of the episode, I had to think back to who was on it, because I honestly couldn't remember. It was that terrible. Ridge, the botch fridge, I can do without. Not trying to be mean, but every time I see him, I just think about what happened to Big E. And he's kind of dry and hard to understand at some points. Like, I'm definitely an accent girl. I love him, but Ridge, he's hard to get sometimes. And rhyming his name does not make any of that more interesting. Ridge the fridge, all right, fine. I love the Judgment Day, but there wasn't enough material in this interview segment. Finn talking about rolling Matt up and smoking him was amusing, but the banter about not knowing what the mountain of omnipotence was just borrowing from the actual Raw show. I'm not a huge fan of that. Alpha Academy was okay. Chad Gable talks a little too fast for the content to even come across, but the main gist I gathered was Merca. I was glad they avoided kind of the low-hanging fruit of Gable telling Otis to shush when he started singing. Not Now was a way better choice, and it kind of showed that relationship of the master with his former student. He's not a student anymore. In a world where he literally tells everyone to shush for no reason, he chose not to. So I liked it. Overall, 2 out of 5. If I didn't know any better, I'd say that Trips is heading for a Raw Talk and SmackDown Lowdown cancellation. There's not that much that's going on with the interviews, and at least with Vinnie Mac, we got a plot turn every now and again. You had your MVP picking the stipulation for he and Bobby Lashley's match. That happened on Raw Talk. You had Paul Heyman accepting Rey Mysterio's challenge Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. That happened on Talking Smack. Just stuff like that you don't see anymore. Doesn't take too much to make me chuckle or gasp, but between trying to reform Raw, SmackDown, and NXT, these might be the programs that kind of fall to the wayside, So, we'll just see. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully they'll improve soon. I enjoy the shows, so hopefully Triple H can do a little bit more with them. But yeah, I'm sorry again that the chat was a little behind me, it seems like. Let me know your thoughts about all these things, about the streams, all this kind of thing. Let me know what you think down in the comments. and I'll be in conjunction with the chat. But I've been Casualeann, and I will see you all soon.